what if this like whole collapse is happening, and what if the world is turning for the worse? It's like a really urgent message from a lot of beings. I almost feel like a whole army of light beings. The way the collective has been feeding the timelines over the last couple of months is that there is a lot of energy being funneled into a negative dystopian timeline. Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to Rooted in the Cosmos. I'm so happy you're tuning back in for this brand new episode, or if you're here for the first time, I welcome you to Rooted in the Cosmos. We talk about all things spirituality here, spiritual leadership, New Earth vision, the Lightworker assignment. So if you feel like you have something to do here during this great shift and help humanity reach a higher consciousness, or bring more good energy into this world, this is for you, and I'm so happy to have you here. Since my last episode, we have transitioned into the month of May, which is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful months of the year. We can go outside again, we can sit in the sun, everything blooms, the grass becomes greener, we can go ground barefoot in the moss. It's so beautiful to see everything come to life again. And even energetically, as humans, as a collective, as May comes, we often get more motivated to do things again. We feel more alive again. We go outside, we connect with nature automatically, and it's just a very beautiful month of the year. I want to do a monthly energy update today. I feel like the past 4 months have been quite dense, and a lot of the people I connected with and a lot of my clients have reported that they have felt off, like physical symptoms, but also brain fog, no motivation, feeling off, not really knowing what the cause is. And there has been going on a lot. When you were watching the Schumann resonance over the last couple of months, there were so many energy spikes, so many blackouts and whiteouts, which is usually a sign that there is so much electromagnetic activity that the devices have a hard time even registering it. What I've noticed for myself energetically leading up to May is that there has been a lot of negativity in the collective, not even just what is happening around the world. I mean, that influences it, but a lot of people had a hard time getting themselves out of that slump, out of that negativity spiral. And even though everything was okay in their personal life and everything seemed normal, they really struggled to see something positive in things, or to just feel like they want to do things, they're motivated, they have like a drive and a passion. I feel like that was lacking a lot in the couple months leading up to May. And I do feel like, good news, there is a shift there. That is why I want to tap into that energy today. The way I do my readings is that I use oracle cards, but I don't use them in the intended way. I don't pull a card and look up the meaning in the little booklet. I just use them as tools that will then open my channel. So the reading is entirely channeled. I'm connecting with the collective of souls who are listening to this podcast, or who will stumble across it on some platform, on YouTube, on Spotify, wherever you're watching or listening. And I tune into that collective energy. So what that means is that there are no coincidences in this universe. So if you stumble across this video or this podcast episode, there is a message for you in this. Because it's a collective reading, there will be some messages that resonate more, and there will be some that are not for you. So not every single message is for you, but you will definitely feel intuitively if something sparks in you and you know that this message is meant for you. Be assured that when you're listening to this, when you're watching this, there is an important message for you that wants to come through. I'm not going to mention which oracle deck I'm using because it really doesn't matter. I only use these as tools. They always help me to tap into my own wisdom and open the channels for that information to come through. So I look at the card, I immediately get a download, and then I'm talking from that download, not from the card or the artwork or anything like that. That being said, let's dive into the reading. I have the cards laid out in front of me here, and so many downloads are already coming through without even tapping into the single cards. So I want to start with the first card. And what is coming through as the first message for this reading is that there is, what I've just said in the intro, there is an energy of cheering up, of things turning for the better. And the way we are asked to do that is to live in the moment. The pain and the suffering and the dense negative energy that has built up ever since the beginning of this year in many people's lives is due to overthinking. A lot of it has to do with not living in the moment and being afraid of the future, this dystopian outlook on the future that is also fed to us in the news, in the media, and that is also kind of reasonable looking at the world right now. But what really wants to come through is that this is all a distraction. Those people who are affected, they are not distracted. They are in survival mode. They are affected by whatever is going on in the world. But those who are not affected and who are looking at this like they are watching the word TV show comes through, they are watching everything unfold on TV, on the media, in the news, and they are watching and they're in freeze mode, watching all of these things and all these possibilities. And what happens is that we start to spiral. So not only what is actually happening is heavy on us, but we are spiraling how that could affect our lives. Even though we're fine, we're having our normal lives, everything's normal for us. But seeing the suffering and the pain of other people broadcasted leads us to spiral into this dystopian timeline of what is going to happen. What is the worst case scenario? What if this whole collapse is happening, and what if the world is turning for the worse? It's like a really urgent message from a lot of beings. I almost feel like a whole army of light beings that want me to really stress this message that there is power in what you perceive and in what you put your mind to, because we are co-creating the reality and we are feeding certain timelines, massive amount of timelines of how things could be. And the way the collective has been feeding the timelines over the last couple of months is that there is a lot of energy being funneled into a negative dystopian timeline. A lot of people don't know this. They are not aware of co-creating their reality. They are not aware of multidimensional timelines. They are not aware of us as humans having power and choice in what is going to manifest. And this is why the light workers really need to get a grip. That is the wording that's coming through. And they need to show up. They need to push aside that they are feeling a little bit off. And this is directly a message to me. I feel this so much that this is coming through now and that I'm meant to share this because, little side note, I've been sitting in front of my computer for the last hour trying out how I want to film this episode, if I want to film it, if I only want to do audio, if I only want to do a newsletter this week, because I really feel so depleted of my energy. And I had some health stuff going on and I really felt like I don't want to do this today. But then I was like, come on. You cannot choose if you want to do this today. You committed to a weekly output and you want to share a message with the people. So get a grip, sit in front of this camera and film this reading for the people. This is what I'm doing. And that is the exact energy that the collective of light workers, the collective of light being supporting us, is asking us light workers on Earth to tap into. We have to get a grip. We have to not be distracted by all the negativity. As long as things don't affect us in our immediate surroundings, we have a mission to fulfill. We are meant to hold the light. We are meant to show up. We are meant to broadcast a vision of a new earth, of a better future. When things are so negative in the world and we look at the collective and the news and the mainstream, it's really hard to keep up that vision of a new earth and keep up that hope. And not even hope, like we're not hoping for it, we are creating it. So it's really hard to do that. But the light beings and the beings beyond this planet supporting us and watching us, they are stressing this so much that we have to tap into the future that we want to create. We have to tap into this timeline, no matter what the distraction is, because it is a distraction. It distracts us from our lightworker mission. So we have to get a grip. We have to show up. You have to grab your camera. You have to post whatever you wanted to post for the last couple of weeks and didn't do it. You have to send out the newsletter. You have to schedule the call with your clients. You have to go live in your community and share a message of hope and of a positive future. Whatever it is that you're doing, even if you're not a light worker in the business sense, or if you don't have a business attached to your light worker mission, spread light in your family, spread light in your surroundings, in your job. Whatever you do, don't get distracted by the negativity that is in the world but does not affect you at this moment. There is always something negative, always something horrible that could distract you. And if we allow ourselves as light workers to constantly be sucked into negativity and to be depleted of energy and to feed into this narrative of everything's so shitty, everything's going down the drain, everything's dystopian, we are feeding the wrong timeline. The next message that wants to come through is that we have to tap into our creativity again. I've been someone who shared about AI in a positive way. I use it to create images that I wouldn't be able to show to people if it weren't for AI. I feel like it's a bridge for us to visualize the other realms, the multidimensionality of things, for people to tangibly grasp and see and understand. So I think it's a great tool. But in this reading, I'm also sharing a channeling that came through about AI that is a little bit more concerning. So what I see is that a lot of people start to sound the same. Their creativity is startled by the use of AI. They don't use it as the tool that I'm supportive of. They use it as a way to have shortcuts in their creative process. They use it as a way to not spend time in a creative flow. They use it to not spend time channeling information. They ask ChatGPT, hey, write this caption for me about this and this topic, and they use it as is. And that's why so many captions and so much content in the online world sounds all the same. They are all using the same words, the same way of building a sentence. And it's because a lot of people are using AI not as a tool, they are using it as a replacement for their own creative channels. And the message that wants to come through is that we have to tap into our creativity again. We have to allow ourselves to be slow and to enjoy the process of creating, of trial and error, of sitting with something for a good amount of time before you post it. There is this risk of us being infiltrated by something that we don't really want to put out into the world, and it's because we just parrot each other by the use of AI. Lightworkers are asked to ask themselves if what they're putting out is actually what their channeled message is. There is nothing wrong with using AI, and I get that it is a tool in the age of Aquarius. I also channeled this information. I made a whole podcast episode about it. But we need to be careful that we are not parroting what AI is giving us, and that we're just using it as a tool to make our lives a little bit easier and to be more efficient in our output. But the output itself, like the messaging behind our output, has to come from a soul perspective, from our cosmic self, from our guides, from our multidimensional wisdom. It cannot come from AI that just generates it on a text-based level and is pulling from all these different sources that are not our inherent soul source, if that makes sense. So there is a slight warning in that, but also the confirmation that AI is a tool for light workers. We are living in the age of Aquarius. I've said this 1,000 times. And this is not just the age of consciousness rising, but it's also the age of technology rising. And as light workers, social media, the internet, use of AI is a way to broadcast our message. We just have to be careful that our message stays pure. It cannot be muddled by the use of AI. I see a visual of, again, an army of light beings. I see so many light beings today, and they're standing behind me in like this crescent moon shape, and they are really like empowering us to stay consistent, to use the tools, the social media, the media in general that is available to us, because we came here at this time for this very reason. We didn't incarnate into this time where so much social media is present and not use it. There is purpose in that. But they're also stressing us to balance it out, to not sit in front of AI all day, producing content, producing messages, sharing spiritual messages that have been generated by AI. They are stressing us to find the balance, and the moments where we do not use technology, we are meant to tap into our own soul, into our own wisdom, and then sit with that without any technology and only use the technology to translate that and to bring it into tangible things that people can resonate with so that message gets shared. They're saying if you were to just sit with your message, with your channelings, with all the insight you have, that would help you and that would help your immediate surroundings, and that's a beautiful thing. But if you feel called to share that online, it can help thousands of souls. It can really create a ripple effect and almost like this domino effect of your channeling your wisdom impacting others. So that's when the use of AI and of technology comes in, because it's really hard to do that all without any technological help. It would cost a lot of energy, a lot of time that we simply don't have in our normal human lives. So that is when they're telling us to use what is available to us. But the core message has to be channeled, has to be set with in a very old school way. That next message that is coming through is accompanied by the visual of a fierce, powerful dragon. It is green, it has huge scales, huge wings, it is massive. And the energy of that dragon is revolutionary. It is powerful, fierce, resilient, unstoppable. That kind of energy is coming through. And the message is not about being loud or being violent or anything like that. It's far from that. But there is a rebellious, revolutionary energy to this that wants us as light workers to show up for our mission powerfully and with resilience and with the necessary devotion for us to keep this up long term. So in tangible terms, what that means is that you need commitment to yourself, you need commitment to your mission. You need to show up every single day for what you want to create. First of all, in your own personal life, because that life will support you in being able to broadcast your message. So you need to have a good, stable, beautiful life to be able to be a light worker in her most powerful form. So that's the first part that counts into this. Be committed to creating a beautiful life for yourself. So do all the necessary 3D things that will get you there and are in alignment with your mission. This could look like actually starting the business you've been thinking about, actually posting daily on social media, broadcasting your message, actually sitting down every day for a couple of hours working on your content, depending on where you are on your journey. It could mean asking for help, investing in a mentor, joining a group program. Whatever you feel intuitively is helping you to create that reality for yourself that gives you financial stability, but also is in alignment with your soul. That is the steps you need to take. And in terms of devotion and service to others, it means showing up even though you don't get the attention you thought you would get. Showing up even though your following is not growing as fast as you thought it would. Showing up for the couple of people who are following you, even though you wish to have a whole movement of people. That is how things like that happen. If all the big people, all the people who actually impact others with their work and who help so many people every day, if they would have not wanted to help only the 10 people that were there in the beginning, they wouldn't have scaled to that massive amount of people now. It also goes for me. If I would have stopped when I just started and I had like a couple of hundred people and I shared my message like I was talking to the whole collective of humanity, and I would have thought, well, that doesn't really make sense. I cannot talk to them like that, and I don't want to. It's kind of embarrassing to talk to 300 people like that. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast episode now. You wouldn't be empowered through my content. You wouldn't have that connection with me and with my world and with my messaging that maybe resonates with you a lot. So you have the same power. You are not farther behind, or people don't have an advantage to you in any way. You are a light worker who came here with a mission, and the universe is supporting you to fulfill that mission. But you have to be the one that takes action and that rides the dragon no matter the circumstances. You have to have full devotion for your mission. I love this message coming through. It is a very supportive energy. I've been working with this whole army of light workers this entire time filming this video. And they are just like, it's a very short and sweet message, and it's hard to put into words because it's an energetic message, but they're basically here to say that there are millions and millions of beings on other dimensions connected to every single light worker. So when a light worker comes to Earth, it's not just them as a person and as a soul having a mission, it's them on so many layers of reality, so many multidimensional layers, and all these layers have a team of support that chose this message, chose this life, chose the family they were born into, chose the hardships and the talents and the gifts. Everything that makes your life good or bad, it goes both ways. It's chosen not only by you, but by a whole team of multidimensional beings being connected to you and knowing you very well. And they all chose the best circumstances. What they're saying is that you are always supported, and that things that feel good but don't make sense will get you further than always making decisions based on what you should do or what people expect from you or what would be the normal way. There is no normal way as a light worker. There is only trying it differently and thriving in it. The way you will succeed in, first of all, your personal life and creating a life you want to live, and also in impacting other people and serving others, is by following your intuition and not doing what everyone else is doing. That can be massively, massively uncomfortable, especially if people try to tell you what to do, what's right for you, what's not right for you. But the message that is coming through is that there is a part of you, and I'm meant to speak very specifically to you, so whoever this is resonating with, this is a message for you. There is a part of you that is really still dependent on other people's opinions, most likely family or people close to you. And there is a lack of understanding that you are your own sovereign soul, your own grown-up person who can make decisions completely on your own. You don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to test the waters if whoever is meant to agree is agreeing with that. You can make your own decisions without listening to anyone else. You're a grown-up. That is a message that wants to come through, and it's meant for a very specific person or a group of people who will very much resonate with that. The last message that is coming through is about knowledge and seeking knowledge. What is coming through is that even though it's not about seeking knowledge in the classical way, even though you feel like you know so much and you have so much to share, you are stuck in a loop of feeling like you need to know more first before being able to teach others. And what the light beings that are still very, very present, what they want you to know is that there is always someone who is just starting out fresh. So no matter where you are on the journey, there is always something that you can teach others. Your basics are life-changing for other people in this moment. So when you're talking about what you think is basic or what is basic knowledge and everyone talks about it, why would I want to talk about that, blah, 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 that is exactly what the people need who are meant to find you. 100 people could say the exact same thing. It would not come across the exact same way. Everyone filters their message through their own personal perspective, through their own unique energy, and through the way they express things. So no matter how many people talk about what you want to talk about online, you are not talking about it online. So get up, grab your camera, grab your phone, and post that damn video talking about whatever you want to talk about, because your perspective as a light worker is still missing in the soup of opinions, of perspectives. There is no one else that can take your place. So please show up and take your place. Claim your role, claim your spot in this whole shared assignment on earth. You are not meant to think someone else is going to do it. You are meant to realize that you have to be the one to show up. And on a personal level, the message is to keep seeking knowledge. Don't stop, don't get comfortable. Always keep an open mind, always grow in your own personal life to then share that with others, to then be in service to others. Never stop being the student, but show up being the teacher now with what you already know. That's it, beautiful souls. That was a very powerful and very beautiful channeling. I still feel the presence of all these beings accompanying us. I hope you learned something new. I hope something resonated with you. Like I said, not every single message has to resonate with you. It possibly could, but because this is a collective reading, take what you need and trust that when something is resonating with you, that this message was for you. If you haven't done that yet, you can join my free community called the Cosmic Awakening School. It's linked in the show notes. You can find resource libraries there. You can connect with other souls on the same journey. We're currently about 700 people in there. I'm sharing content that I don't share anywhere else, and it's just a beautiful way to stay connected and to keep working on your lightworker mission, even though you may lack the clarity or you're not ready for a full-blown business yet. This is the place to start. This is the place to stay connected with. I will see you next week for a brand new episode. Until then, have a beautiful time.